Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, I've got three very special guests, Tara Tiernan, Mary Mach, and Christopher Fuel of William and Mary Swimming. Obviously, this is a big news story. William and Mary cutting several sports programs, including their swimming and diving programs. We've talked to alums, coaching alums already, and this week we're bringing former and current athletes on. I want to get into, fond memories you all have from William and Mary Swimming, why this program is so important, and obviously why we need to keep working to save it. But first, I do want to address a couple of the elephants in the room. We had two big news stories come out this week involving this incident, the William and Mary, swim dive sports programs getting cut. The first of which was that the athletic director plagiarized Stanford's release when announcing the cut of these sports programs. It seems like not a great move on the administration's part. Obviously, plagiarism not a good look to have. Chris, if you said you'd had some comments for me, share your take on this story and what it means to you.
Yeah. So for me, there are really two aspects to this story. One, for them to put out this open letter and openly plagiarize it, it seems really, I don't know, condescending, and they obviously didn't put too much thought into it. And this is a very serious problem, being cut. They said that they want to treat us, with respect and help us through this process. But, it doesn't seem like they even gave us the common decency to tell us why they cut our teams in their own words. So, that was number one that really stung a lot. And it was really unfair, I feel like, and I know a lot of the athletes and even students and professors and other faculty members are really offended by that. And two, this goes down to the core of William and Mary. Coming in as a freshman, we are all sworn in to this honor code, which basically we recite words that says, I pledge to not lie, steal, cheat in my academic or in life. Just anything, regarding life at all. So that's something that is taken really seriously, that being the oldest student-run honor code in the country. And it's got a really rich history, and it's held dearly by the students here at William and Mary. So for a faculty member, a high-ranking faculty member at that, to openly plagiarize, a document this important, it really hurt us. It really hurt the student athletes, but it also really hurt the student population, the faculty population, because this is a code that, we're all sworn to live by. And, if our administration can't uphold those values, it seems, really wrong of them to not hold themselves to the same standard that we're held to.
Tara, Mary, any additional thoughts on this subject?
I will say our honor code is in almost every single one of our classrooms. It's something that is very present in our everyday lives as students. And for the administration to just not put in the time to fully write a statement, it felt like a slap in the face.
Yeah, and to add on to that, in one of the letters that was sent out, I think by President Rowe after the open letter was released and students were claiming plagiarism, she stated that the letter was written with good intentions. But however, if a student did something similar with an essay in their class and claimed to have good intentions while accidentally plagiarizing as well, they would likely face suspension or expulsion. And just to reiterate what Chris said about the plagiarism and the standards that we are held to, it's very insulting to see that the people we're supposed to aspire towards and the leaders on our campus are not held to that same standard.
It's hard to see 7 sports teams cut with quote unquote good intentions after the announcement's plagiarized. It's an interesting flip flop there, certainly. And so that was news story number 1, and I think it just ultimately it adds insult to injury. Bottom line, it's like you said, Mary, it's a slap in the face. And so secondly, though, we had William and Mary's cut women's sports alleged Title IX violations come out just a few days later after the plagiarism news, which, that's a contrast to the plagiarism. This could actually, make a big difference in theory. Tara, you've got the details on this one. Break it down for us.
Yeah, so basically in 1991, something similar happened on William & Mary's campus. They eliminated women's basketball, and a lawyer was retained by the team to present the facts to the school about the population of women on campus and the population of men on campus, and how the athletic department was not adhering to that same standard. And luckily for them, when the lawyer presented the case, they came to a resolution without having to go through the lawsuit. But it's a similar situation to what we are dealing with now. So basically in 2018, 2019, William & Mary had a population of undergrad 57.7% women. However, there was 46.3% women within the athletic department, which is an 11.4% gap between the undergraduate enrollment rate at William & Mary and then the female athletes that were on campus. So at that point, William & Mary would have needed to add approximately 174 women to its athletic program to be adhering to Title IX. And so this was before the 7 teams were cut. So with the eliminations of the teams that was announced on September 3rd, the athletic participation numbers dropped to be about 220 men and 235 women, which had 51.6% women, which even though that is higher than it was in 2018, 2019, the school would still need to add approximately 65 women to reach gender equity under Title IX. So approximately that is the number of women that are being eliminated by the school with these cuts. And that is the basis for the Title IX violations that have been filed by members of women's volleyball, women's swimming, and women's gymnastics.
So do you, from your personal perspective, do you see this, having teeth, making ground, or do you see this as a way of making real change in these decisions?
I think for sure. I mean, it's 2020. I think equity and equality is something we're all striving towards. And William & Mary is known for being a prestigious institution that is also rather progressive. And I would hate to see that reputation wiped away just because of one careless decision that didn't look too far into the numbers. And additionally, lawsuits are extremely expensive. And if the school is struggling as much financially as they have said they were during COVID, and they needed to cut athletic teams because of this, I think that going through with this lawsuit and fighting us and paying that money also would not be in their best interest. So I think because the facts are the facts, and it does seem to be a violation unless there's something we're not aware of, and because of the high cost, I think this really could have a big impact for us.
Again, Chris, Mary, any additional thoughts on this subject?
I know that when I saw the numbers of what the percentages were before the teams were even cut, that really shocked me that such a low percentage of the student athletes were women, and that it wasn't brought up before the cuts were made. And I even talked to my dad about it because I was so shocked by the percentage. And while the cuts try to even that, it's not good enough. And I think William & Mary needs to do more as an institution especially as we now have a female president and a female athletic director. We're trying to make a more, I guess, like gender equal institution, and that should reflect in the student athlete population as well.
Well said. So, and I think, obviously I couldn't agree more. I think equality is big, especially in our day and age. I think we're striving toward it in a lot of different realms as a society right now, and it's slow moving, but I like to think we're going in the right direction. So with those two big pieces of news coming out, we still, there is still this huge effort to save William and Mary swimming and diving. You can visit savetribeswimming.com to make a donation. As of September 18th, the Tribe Swimming has already raised over $1 million in donations, getting it on its way, in hopes to raise $4.5 million to help support the swimming and diving program, which is set to be cut after this season. Just over $1 million that comes from 673 pledges. Guys, if you could each give your perspective on just what you've seen, how you've seen this community rally since the announcement of the swimming and diving programs getting cut, and 673 pledges equating to just over $1 million. Tara, we'll start with you. We'll go to Chris. We'll go to Mary then. If you guys could just give your take on what you've seen, how you've seen the community rally since this announcement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that I noticed right away was the support from our alumni. I mean, you'll hear this from everybody that speaks about Tribe Swimming, but we really are such a family. That's why a majority of us come here in the first place. It's because the relationships that you form here on the swim team are unrivaled. And seeing 300 alumni on a 9 p.m. Friday night Zoom call the day after we got cut, all gathering together until close to midnight just to find a way or many ways to support us and to just back us up in this fight was outstanding. And they've continued to be our biggest support throughout all of this. There's an emotional support committee for all of the current swimmers, which I think has been amazing to address the stress of the team being cut, as well as COVID and classes and everything that a normal college student goes through. And they also have a giant PR committee and executive committee. People are writing letters to donors of William and Mary. People are creating articles to be sent out in local papers or even SwimSwam, as we've seen. And I think just the alumni support has been the thing that has instilled the most confidence in me in that we can win this fight, because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have graduated dozens and dozens of years ago that are still fighting with us to this day.
Yeah, and to add to that, obviously the alumni support has been amazing, and they have done a ton of great work. But outside of just the alumni, we're getting a ton of support from, first off, our fellow athletes from teams that were and were not cut. They've been super supportive of us, really trying to help us out wherever they can. A lot of stuff going around on social media. They've been helping out with that a lot, which is awesome. And fellow students as well. I know there's been a resolution that's been written by our student assembly, basically advocating on the cut team's behalf and arguing that they would like us to be reinstated. So that's been huge. Having the support of the student government here is awesome. I've had the opportunity to speak to quite a few of them, and their support and their professionalism in this situation has been really impressive, and I'm really grateful for it. Additionally, we're seeing a lot of support from professors and faculty these are the people that know that we bring a lot to this school. We're great academically, we're great athletically, we're great leaders, and that's what makes us an asset to this school, and an asset, later on in our professional lives. And it's because of what we've been able to do here, and they recognize that, and they see that, and they see us as an asset. And that's why they're really fighting for us and really supporting our cause. So it's been great. We've received a ton of support from all these different little facets of the William and Mary community and beyond, and it's been really, really uplifting to see in this tough time for us.
Looking at it from like an alumni perspective, after having that like first initial meeting when there was 400 people on in the first meeting, we had to switch to a different format because there's too many people trying to join. And that next morning, I started working on our tribe, Save Tribe Swimming website. And the amount of people that texted me and reached out to me all asking for help was just like absolutely amazing. And the support that was there was absolutely amazing. And there's no way that we could have been able to get a website done in 2 days without all of that support. Previously, I've done websites and it's taken me several weeks. And all the coding that was helped by my teammates, it was just absolutely amazing. And now, like going forward, all the communication that's been on the alumni parents group has been just like so uplifting because no one's giving up. We're not losing tribe swimming. Like we're here and we're making our voices known. And just having that support hasn't allowed me to question if this is final or not. And I know that's what I've needed to go forward over the past few weeks. And I love it. And I can't wait to see how much more we can do.
So obviously you hear these three testimonies, all three of you very passionate about this program. Obviously it has a very strong alumni base. Again, this is a strange situation because we had seen several swim programs cut before this, but none had the $3 million endowment that William and Mary did. This endowment was set up back in 1990 and 91 when the school talked about cutting the programs then. Again, the William and Mary had the endowment. From what I've learned and discussed with the alumni before, it's not a very costly program, and yet still it was set to be cut again after this season. Alumni estimate that if they can raise $4.5 million this time, the school will no longer be able to use the program's cost burden as a rationale for the program cut. And current swimmers, coaches, alumni have just rallied, including, again, this over $1 million in donations. If you want to make a donation, savetribeswimming.com/pledge. No donation too small. A week ago, rising junior Missy Cundiff even produced a rap song, socially distanced music video to help raise funds. You can see that in the description below. We'll link it there. So now to my favorite part. To really bring this conversation home, I want to hear about your tribe swimming experiences. What have you guys loved about being a part of William and Mary swimming? Let's go in reverse order this time, really switch it up. Mary, we'll start with you, then let's go to Chris and then Tara. But, give me some of your favorite memories, whether that be practices, meets, late night meals, whatever you got, throw it at me. I want to hear why William and Mary swimming really still needs to be around.
So I guess like the first story I want to start off with is, so when I told my dad the team got cut, his first response was, how could you cut a team that has so much energy and so much passion at our meets? I think that's something that really stands out, that like before our meets, our like pre-meet ritual is just so involved in the banging and the cheers that we have on our windows and how loud we can get. It's so inspiring and so exciting, and nothing that I ever experienced before I came to college, and I'm so glad that I have it. And like reflecting on my recruiting trip, I missed the Saturday practice I was there, and I didn't even know that this was how intense it was before I came. And I feel so fortunate that I was able to experience it. And I would say some of my favorite memories is just how supportive and how there the team has always been for me. Like reflecting on my freshman year and stuff, the seniors on the team, they were just there. The way that they supported us during practices and got our energy going, and just their kindness in places like our Florida training trip and everything like that. It's just those little memories of the everyday that have really stand out to me, despite winning our CAA championship my freshman year. While that was super exciting and I loved being there, it was also all the little memories of every day that have really stuck with me since graduation.
Yeah, so like Mary said, I mean, there are just so many great things about this program, great memories that I have. I feel like one that really sticks out to me. So there's this thing that we do on the team called the towel cheer, and so there's a person on the team who basically runs the towel cheer, and it's their duty to do it until they graduate, basically. And actually, our former head coach Matt Crispino, who you had on a few weeks ago, he was the towel boy back in his day. So that's been passed down from swimmer to swimmer. And so my sophomore year at CAAs, I was lucky enough and super fortunate to have this opportunity. The towel cheer guy that had held the position the previous, I think, 2 years was Joey Rento, and he was graduating that year. And we do that cheer right before the last relays at CAAs every year. And so he came up to me and he told me, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes beforehand that, he was like picking me to lead the towel cheer after he left. And so we led the towel cheer during the intermission right before the relays. I had to learn all, the little nuances of how to do the cheer real quickly. Of course I had seen it before, so I kind of knew what it was about. But yeah, he led me through it. We did it together. We had the whole team behind us, and it was really supportive. We got everybody just really hyped up for the last relays. And then actually right after that, I had to go and swim on the relay, so you can imagine my heart was already pumping. But yeah, just to have that opportunity to carry on a tradition like that, it's really been a blessing. And I'm really fortunate that Joey decided to choose me. And I don't want to be the last person to hold that title. I want to be able to give it off to someone, because it's a tradition that's been around for years and years and years. I mean, it goes back at least into the 90s. I think it goes back even before then. I'm not an expert on that, but it's just sad that little traditions like that are just going to be forgotten if these cuts are upheld. And so we that's why we're really fighting, because this team is special. We support each other. We're here for each other, and we just have so much to give.
Yeah, just to add on to all of that, I mean, you've heard it from Mary and Topher. William and Mary Tribe Swimming is a really special place. And there's so many little things that add up to that, like walking onto practice and having the coaches ask you a crazy would you rather that involves some sort of food or cutting off a body part or something wild, or asking how your test went that you told them about 4 days ago and they still remember that you had it today, or just getting to practice and having the absolute worst day that you ever thought you could possibly have, and jumping in the water with 5 of your best friends in your lane that automatically make you laugh more than you thought you could because your day had been so terrible. It's just little things like that that add up to being the big picture of what tribe swimming really is. And there's so many relays and races and memories that have been so exciting, but I don't think anything compares just to the day-to-day interactions that we have with one another. I've struggled with anxiety my entire life, and tribe swimming and these people that are here as a part of this team have really made me so confident in who I am today, just because of the love that everyone gives and receives. It's so unique. There's nothing like it. You can 100% be yourself, whoever that is, as a member of tribe swimming, and know that you will be loved wholeheartedly despite that all, or because of that all. And I think just the accepting attitude of everybody on this team and the family atmosphere, like people on campus joke that we're a cult, but it's just because we're all best friends, and you can't fake that. I mean, I didn't even want to come to William & Mary when I was a senior in high school. They were bottom of my list. I had an extra D1 trip for recruiting left, and I chose to come to William & Mary because I had a friend in high school that was a freshman, and he said, "Why not come? I think you might like it. It's a special place." And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I showed up for that recruit trip, and we did a scavenger hunt and drove around campus, and I was sweating, and it was like 85 degrees outside, and I hadn't done any homework, and it was one of the best weekends of my entire life. And I committed that following Monday because I knew, like, you walk on this campus and you know 100% that this is where you're meant to be. I mean, it's home for all of us, and it's not home without tribe swimming. And I think that's why we're fighting so hard to keep it, because like none of us would be who we are today without this program. Really.
I think anyone who has been on a swim team knows that it's a special place. William & Mary, maybe a step above your normal swim team. As you can hear from these three, tribe swimming, certainly a special community, certainly worth keeping around, worth saving. SaveTribeSwimming.com/pledge to show your support today. Mary, Chris, Tara, thank you so much for joining me today and taking the time to share your memories of tribe swimming. You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcasts on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.